If Disney truly thinks we need almost 90 seconds of recapping at the beginning of every episode to help the new episode make sense, I really have to ask why they didn't just release this as a movie.
Get the back to tank ready.
Ah, the back to tank. I should have guessed. It does all the heavy lifting so the writers don't have to deal with the consequences of physically f***ing up the protagonist. And the audience doesn't have to give a shit when they see someone injured. Also, this all seems a bit overdramatic. Doesn't this franchise usually just have people recuperating on an uncomfortable looking bed in sickbay?
Don't!
Expecting someone who has just woken up in a vat of liquid not to freak out.
Where's Leia?
TV show completely skips Obi-Wan losing his shit with Tala for leaving Leia behind and allowing her to be kidnapped by the bad guys. He should be fucking furious right now. We don't even see the mildest of Force jokings.
You can't keep me here. My father is Bail Organa. He's a senator.
Writers think that the Leia we all know and love would be throwing around this "do you know who my father is" cliche.
I am a princess of Alderaan.
Kids.
She knows everything.
Telling secrets to a child. Ever.
You've no idea what the Empire is capable of.
Of course Rogan knows what the Empire is capable of. What does Obi-Wan think he's doing here? Digging for fossils? That could be the most ignorant shit I've heard out of anyone in the Star Wars universe. And it came from Obi-Wan. Now, fortunately, Rogan sets him straight, but unfortunately, that just means this was a setup to force feed us Rogan's motivations. Great, but why at the expense of Obi-Wan? What the f*** is this show doing to Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I had a wife once.
But also, skip?
Look, if you want my help, you got it.
Obi-Wan being a dick works.
So that's it. Fortress Inquisitorius.
I don't care if it's pulled from a comic or video game or whatever. Fortress Inquisitorius still follows the make it sound vaguely Latin school of naming things, and it sounds dumb as heck. There, I said it. Dumb as heck. Inquisit me if you must.
It's impenetrable, Wade.
It will, of course, prove to be extremely penetrable.
Truth is, nobody knows what it looks like in there.
So what is the point of this fancy hologram if it has zero information to share? It's not even red.
I don't see any shields.
That's because no one would be stupid enough to attack them.
Yes, but the only thing dumber than that is not equipping the place with shields because you assume no one is dumb enough to attack it.
We need to find a way inside.
Well, we're not soldiers. Those speeders are for hauling sewage.
She's 10 years old.
Thinking that the age of the child you're rescuing will change the core function of your speeders or the ability of those riding them. Also, we need a Dirty Jobs episode on how they're hauling sewage in these things, because right now I'm guessing the back seat, and that's definitely a sin.
I can get you inside and I can get you access.
Is your cover still intact?
We'll find out soon enough.
I know they have limited options, but this is not a plan. This is like me pulling out a 10-year-old condom and assuming it won't immediately explode. My best friend and I play a game of Kerspunk. Kerspunk is a game where we fill a condom with Jell-O and then throw it at each other until it bursts, and then the person who threw it gets to shout, "Kerspunk!" Wait, what do you use condoms for?
We're wasting time.
Yep.
The past is a hard thing to forget, and you just need time, that's all.
Yes, I hear the first 10 years post failing to prevent the murder of all your Jedi friends and younglings is all about denial, and it's the following 10 where the real healing starts.
I need to find out where they are.
While I can't say for sure that the writers momentarily thought it would be awesome if this episode had Reva use her cool-looking lightsaber in a showdown with Obi-Wan, I can confirm they chose to have her character interrogate a child for most of the episode instead. Thinking that this show needed the largest and coolest version of that thing at the airport that lets the TSA agent get a good look at your package. And yes, whichever package you're thinking of, I'm talking about the other one.
Perhaps I should just inform the Grand Inquisitor of your insolence.
Allowing your vigilance to be confused with insolence by an abundance of confidence.
All right, I'm inside the system. Here we go.
Just to recap here, the impenetrable fortress consists of a wide-open hangar and one incompetent guard that doesn't feel the need to challenge a suspicious visitor. It's about as impenetrable as a 10-year-old condom filled with Jell-O being thrown. You get the idea. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Ben, I'm overriding an entry port.
Well, at least it wasn't a fucking exhaust port this time. Nope, that's not a sin removal. That's me adding an extra sin for the original trilogy. Obi-Wan Episode 4 misses the opportunity to pull a Star Wars Episode 4 by not disguising Obi-Wan as a stormtrooper. Also, why doesn't he disguise himself as a stormtrooper? What the f was Lola's plan here? Adorable her to death?
What are they keeping down there?
Nobody within earshot, including this fucking guy who we know heard her, does f all about this.
Just keep heading north.
Giving directions like this indoors. A galaxy far, far away with laser swords, faster than light travel, planet-killing space stations, but no concept of 360-degree cameras. And why would this droid look through the windows and not just open the door? And how is its supervisor putting up with this kind of laziness? Either everyone stepped out for lunch while this was happening, or the generic evil officer here was a real dick to his employees, and they're all quite happy to go about their work to the tune of him getting his ass kicked.
Ben.
Did you hear that? Over there. Let's go.
Good to know that the stormtroopers have a pre-agreed hierarchy when it comes to suspicious noises, and that generic thuds in the distance rank above unexplained radio comms.
I think I just found the secure sector.
Because the fucking door decals are red? The only thing dumber than Obi-Wan assuming this is the fact that he's right.
This place isn't a fortress. It's a tomb.
Thinking your Jedi will increase in value if you don't take them out of the packaging.
What are you doing to
The
me?
same thing I do to anyone who doesn't embrace the Empire.
Not giving the person you're about to encase in amber the courtesy of a clear and honest answer. Wait, no. Not giving the viewer the courtesy of a clear and honest answer, because I'm just assuming you're doing to her what we just saw Obi-Wan looking at. But for all we know, this device could be for root canals or making cotton candy.
This is your last chance, Leia.
Except we all know it isn't. The music, the dialogue, the acting, everything is supposed to make me feel some kind of suspense, but that's a tall order when I know Disney, thankfully, would never show a child being tortured. And we already know Leia survives this.
Tala, I need a distraction.
Why? What's happened?
Just do it now.
And this request is so vague that it raises a serious question about how Tala managed to come up with the appropriate distraction. She could have just stood on the desk and began singing Jiggle Jiggle, and I'm sure everyone in the room would have been distracted, but it wouldn't have been the least bit helpful for Leia's situation.
Unless, of course, you're lying.
Reva's rightfully skeptical, but wastes a bunch of time on questions instead of immediately doing the thing where she force pulls the information out of your mind. I guess it would have been convenient for her, but inconvenient for the plot. Yes! Finally, the kid is back! The return of the mother-forcing Jedi! But the writers made us wait till episode 4. So, apparently the secret droid's speed is set to slightly slower than a child, like most of the bad guys in this show. It's official. Stormtrooper helmets cause more harm than good. Tala slaps this guy in the head and it completely takes him out of the game. I'm beginning to wonder if they're actually just plastic shells with an array of spikes on the inside. It's not just that this works, it's also that despite his dip in the ocean earlier, he hasn't been tracking water all over the base. So the real sin is that none of the water in this episode is working properly.
I want the base shut down now!
I want your character to do more than just walk around being angry all the time, but we don't always get what we want. There's no... He is not... Oh my goodness, he's hiding her under a fucking overcoat? Look at her little red boots walking alongside him. Oh my, she peeks out? And none of these dozens of people notice this discount Vincent Adultman just walking around. This is how Scooby-Doo would have fucking escaped. What is going on here? Every stormtrooper in the hangar has their blaster trained on these three, and this guy just cuts through the situation like,
Pardon me, excuses me, late for a meeting.
I'll admit it, I laughed when Tala shot the little mouse droid, but considering the tone of the rest of this episode, I have no idea if this was a joke or if the little guy actually posed a threat. Come on, show, pick a path.
Destroy them!
Fifth brother says this while also not doing any destroying. Wade! Obi-Wan episode ends with Reva staring at Obi-Wan on an escaping ship cliché.
Where's Wade?
Okay, fine. I'll go watch all of Star Wars Clone Wars and Rebels so I can feel the impact of Wade's death better. I'm sure he appears somewhere in those 208 episodes, right? Right?
What do you want to discuss now? My favorite color?
Some hag trophy wife needs new skin for a facelift, or one of them gets sick and they need a new heart. They take it from you.
Doesn't he realize that I am the daughter of the 5th house of Beta Z? Holder of the sacred chalice of Reeks.
You can't keep me here. My father is Bail Organa. He's a senator.
You know, there's lots of things you expect in war. Carnage, the sleepless nights. But what they don't prepare you for is the incessant use of Fortunate Son.
It's their base of operations, so probably got a command center training facility.
Them are the amenities. Now you don't yell out amenities.
I'm going to go across the street and get you some orange sherbet.
I'm going to go across the street and get you some orange sherbet.
This armor's useless. Why do we even wear it?
I'll have to tell my father first. But that's okay, right? You said we're all on the same side.
Well, you little... How can you look me in the eye and lie like that?
What are you in for?
Everything.
It makes sense. Path would have people among us.
This is the way.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.